It started like any other Thursday morning, chaotic but routine. Our two kids were bickering over the last chocolate chip waffle, my coffee had gone cold before I even took a sip, and Claire, my wife, was running late for work. I was about to wrestle our youngest into his sneakers when my phone rang. An unfamiliar number flashed across the screen. I almost ignored it, but something made me pick up. Hello. Hey, it's me, Claire's voice came through, tight with urgency. I frowned. Claire. Why are you calling? Did you forget something? She hesitated. No, listen, something happened last night. My purse got stolen at the hotel lobby. That got my attention. Claire had been away for a work trip, some conference her marketing firm sent her to. She traveled often, so I hadn't thought much about it. Wait, stolen? What happened? I left it at the cashier's counter while I was grabbing a newspaper, she said, voice rushed. By the time I turned around, it was gone. I exhaled. Damn. Did you report it? Yeah, the hotel staff checked the dumpsters, but nothing yet. My boss is wiring me some cash until the new company cards arrive. That part was odd. Claire never mentioned needing money from her boss before. Alright, I'll cancel the credit cards. Anything else missing? Just some cash, about $1,200. And my driver's license. I might need a taxi for today's meeting. $1,200. That was a lot to carry around. But I brushed the thought aside. Okay, I'll take care of it. Thanks, babe. I miss you guys. Kiss the kids for me. We hung up, and I canceled the cards immediately. Crisis averted. Or so I thought. But 6 weeks later, I found something that made me question everything. It was a routine afternoon. The kids were at school, and I was sorting through documents looking for our home insurance policy when I stumbled upon a folder labeled Fidelity Statements, Claire's separate investment fund. I never snooped. Claire inherited a hefty sum after her parents' tragic accident, and I'd always respected her privacy. But something made me open the folder. The balance had grown to over $400,000. No surprise there. But what caught my eye was a withdrawal, $3,000, taken out exactly 2 days after she lost her purse. That's when I saw the check. Claire had written it to a jewelry store. My stomach twisted. She never mentioned buying jewelry. I pulled out my laptop, typed in the store's name, and grabbed their number. A woman answered. Thank you for calling Sterling Jewelers, how can I help you? I cleared my throat. Yeah, hi. I'm calling about a purchase made a few weeks ago. My wife bought something, and we wanted to check on the store's warranty. There was a pause, then typing. Certainly. Can you provide the date and name on the transaction? I did. More typing. Then she spoke again, her voice chipper. Oh yes, I remember this purchase. Your wife was quite distressed. She mentioned that her wedding and engagement rings had been stolen and needed to replace them quickly. My heart slammed against my ribs. Stolen. Claire never mentioned losing her rings. And she'd been wearing them the night before she left. I felt like the ground had just dropped out from under me. Because if her rings were stolen, then what the hell was she wearing when she kissed me goodbye? I sat there, gripping my phone, my mind racing in 100 different directions. Claire's rings were stolen. No. That couldn't be right. I saw them on her finger the night before she left for that trip. I kissed her goodbye, my thumb brushing over the cool metal of her wedding band. But then why did she buy replacements? Sir, the woman from the jewelry store asked. Are you still there? I swallowed hard. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. My wife said her rings were stolen. Yes, she confirmed. She was really upset about it. Said it happened while she was traveling for work and wanted to replace them quickly. It was a bit tricky to match the style, but I think she was happy with the final choice. I forced out a chuckle. Right, yeah, she's always been picky. Did she mention where they were stolen? Not specifically. Just that it happened out of town. Got it, I said, my voice tight. And, were the replacements identical to her old ones? Not exactly, she admitted. She wanted something a little different. The engagement ring was a larger diamond with a new setting. More modern. And the wedding band, oh, she got a completely different one. A rose gold band with tiny diamonds all around. Really stunning. I barely managed to thank her before hanging up. Claire didn't replace her stolen rings. She upgraded them. My hands trembled as I pulled up my phone's gallery, scrolling back to the last picture we took together before her trip. It was a selfie on the couch, the kids curled up beside us, Claire's hand resting on my knee. Her rings, our rings, were right there. And now, they were just, gone. I clenched my jaw, the first bitter seed of doubt rooting itself in my chest. Claire lied to me. But why? I needed more information, so I did what any half-paranoid husband would do, I started digging. First stop. Her suitcase. She was at work, the kids were still at school, and I had time. I hurried to our walk-in closet and yanked down the suitcase she always used for work trips. She had unpacked everything, but I knew Claire. She was meticulous, but she always forgot something. I searched every pocket, every zipper, every compartment. And then, finally, I found it. A receipt. It was crumpled, wedged deep inside one of the smaller pockets. A hotel receipt. Not from her conference in Denver. This one was from a boutique hotel in Chicago. And the date? The exact same week she was supposed to be in Denver. My heart pounded as I scanned it, taking in the details. One room. One king-sized bed. A check-in time of 9:47 p.m. No company card. No business expenses. She paid with her personal account. My stomach twisted. I checked my phone, scrolling back to the night she arrived in Denver. We had FaceTimed. She had been in a hotel room, sitting on the bed, her hair damp from a shower. But now I had to wonder. Whose bed was she really sitting on? And then, another memory hit me like a truck. That same night, after we hung up, she had texted me. I miss you, baby. Wish you were here. And now I knew. She hadn't been missing me at all. She was with someone else. I sat on the edge of our bed, the hotel receipt burning a hole in my palm. My mind raced, but no matter how I tried to piece it together, the conclusion was the same: Claire had been in Chicago, not Denver. And she hadn't been alone. I wanted to be rational. To be the calm, collected husband who didn't jump to conclusions. But the facts didn't lie. She told me her rings were stolen. She secretly replaced them with better ones. She was supposed to be in Denver, but I had a receipt that placed her in Chicago instead. I felt sick. I needed proof. Solid, undeniable proof before I confronted her. So I did what I never thought I'd do, I started investigating my own wife. Step 1, her bank transactions. Claire and I had separate accounts for personal expenses, but we shared a main household account for bills and the mortgage. I never had a reason to check hers before. Until now. I logged into our online banking and pulled up her transactions for the week of the Denver trip. Most of it was normal: coffee shops, Uber rides, a work lunch. But then I saw it. A $947 charge at the Ivy Boutique Hotel in Chicago. Paid with her personal card. I checked her work email. Yes, I knew her password. She had me book flights for her before. Nothing about a Chicago trip. Just Denver. The fake Denver conference. Claire was hiding this from me. But why? Step 2, her phone records. I needed to see who she had been talking to. Luckily, we had a shared family plan, so I had access to her call logs online. I scrolled through the numbers, my pulse hammering. That's when I saw it. A repeated number. Over and over. Late night calls. Early morning texts. A Chicago area code. I copied the number, opened Google, and pasted it into the search bar. My stomach dropped when the results loaded. Dr. Nathan Carter, a name I knew well. Claire's old college boyfriend. My blood went ice cold. She had told me years ago that they reconnected on social media. That they occasionally chatted, just catching up. That it was nothing serious. Apparently, nothing serious was worth a 4-night stay in a boutique hotel in Chicago. I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. Step 3, finding more evidence. I needed more. The kind of evidence that left no room for excuses. That's when I remembered something. Claire had an old iPad she barely used anymore. And because she was terrible with technology, she had all her devices linked. If she had ever messaged Nathan on her phone, there was a good chance those messages were still on the iPad. I walked into the office, opened the desk drawer, and pulled it out. The screen was dark, smudged with fingerprints, but still powered on. And it wasn't password protected. I swiped open the messaging app and started scrolling. That's when I found them. Hundreds of messages. Claire and Nathan. 4 months. And what I read made my stomach churn. I can't stop thinking about that night in Chicago. I miss you so much. You have no idea how hard it is to lie to him. I want you again, Nathan. Soon. My fingers curled into a fist so tight, my knuckles cracked. She was cheating on me. And the worst part? She had been lying to my face for months. The moment that broke me. I was about to slam the iPad shut when a photo attachment caught my eye. It was from the night she was supposedly in Denver. I hesitated, my stomach twisting into knots, then clicked on it. And there she was. Claire. In bed. Wearing nothing but her new wedding ring. And right behind her. Nathan. Smirking. I felt like the floor had vanished beneath me. I had my proof. My wife wasn't just cheating, she was building an entirely different life behind my back. And now, I had to decide what to do with it. I stared at the screen, my heart hammering so hard it felt like it might burst. There she was, Claire, my wife of 14 years, in a bed that wasn't ours, wearing nothing but the ring she replaced behind my back. And next to her, looking smug as hell, was Nathan Carter. The man she told me was just an old friend. I felt something inside me snap. I had proof. Cold, undeniable, unforgivable proof. For a long time, I just sat there, gripping the iPad so hard my fingers ached. A part of me wanted to storm into her office right now and shove the screen in her face. Watch her scramble for excuses. Watch her try to lie her way out of this. But I didn't. Because Claire had been playing a long game, lying, deceiving, sneaking around for months. Maybe longer. And if she thought I was just going to blow up and leave, she was dead wrong. I was going to make sure she felt this. Step 1, the backup plan. I took screenshots of everything. Every text, every call log, every hotel receipt. I emailed them to myself, then uploaded them to a private cloud drive. Next, I pulled out my phone and texted my lawyer, Michael Green. Mike, I need to talk. Urgent. Michael, busy today. Tomorrow morning. No, today. Divorce. Cheating spouse. I have proof. That got his attention. Michael, come by my office at 6. We'll talk. Done. That was one step forward. Step 2, gathering the final pieces. I needed to know how deep this went. I went back to the iPad and dug through her emails. And that's when I found something that nearly pushed me over the edge. A plane ticket. Booked 2 weeks ago. A flight to Hawaii. For this weekend. 1 ticket for Claire. 1 for Nathan Carter. The subject line. Our getaway, finally. The departure time. Saturday at 10 a.m. I exhaled slowly. So that was it. She wasn't just cheating, she was planning to leave me while I was still playing the role of the clueless husband. She was going to spend a romantic week in Hawaii with her old friend, while I sat at home with the kids, thinking she was away for work. I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. Oh, hell no. Step 3, the setup. I heard Claire's car pull into the driveway just as I closed the iPad. She walked into the house like nothing had changed, like she wasn't actively betraying me. Hey, babe, she said, kissing me on the cheek. How was your day? I forced a smile. Act normal. Don't let her know you know. Same old, I said, shrugging. What about you? Oh, exhausting, she sighed, kicking off her heels. Meetings all day. And I have a ton of work to catch up on. Meetings, huh? I wondered if meetings meant FaceTiming Nathan about their upcoming beachside rendezvous. I played my part perfectly. I listened, nodded, even massaged her shoulders when she complained about her stress. Inside, I was screaming. She had no idea that she had just days left before her entire world came crashing down. Because on Saturday morning, when she thought she'd be boarding a plane to paradise with her lover, she was going to wake up to divorce papers, frozen bank accounts, and a very public humiliation. I was done being the fool. For the next 2 days, I played my role flawlessly. I kissed Claire good morning. I made her coffee just the way she liked it. I even sat through a Netflix show with her at night, pretending I wasn't imagining the look on her face when she realized I knew everything. Because Saturday morning, that was Judgment Day. And I was making sure it would be a day she'd never forget. Step 1, locking her out. Friday morning, I visited Michael Green, my lawyer. I laid everything out, the texts, the hotel receipts, the plane tickets, the photo of her in bed with Nathan. Michael whistled low, shaking his head. She really thought she could get away with this. She did, I said, my voice steady. But I'm making sure she doesn't. Michael nodded. All right. First thing tomorrow morning, we file the divorce petition. I'll make sure she gets served before her flight. And the accounts? I'll have the bank freeze your joint accounts today. Anything with her name on it, we'll lock down before she can touch it. We'll move your half into a new private account. I nodded. And the house? Michael smirked. I checked your mortgage. Your name is the only one on it. She has no claim. If she tries to come back after her little getaway, she won't have a home to come back to. Exactly. I grinned. It was all falling into place. But there was still one more thing I needed to do. Step 2, the public exposure. Friday afternoon, while Claire was out running errands, probably packing for her trip with Nathan, I did what any husband with proof of infidelity would do. I sent everything to her entire family. Her parents. Her siblings. Her closest friends. Even her boss. Subject, I thought you should know. I attached the photos, the texts, the receipts, everything. Then I sat back and waited. It didn't take long. Her sister was the first to call. Emily, oh my God, are you okay? Me, oh, I'm fine. Claire, on the other hand, well, she won't be. Emily, I can't believe she did this. With Nathan? That loser? I am going to kill her. Me, you might want to get in line. By the time Claire came home that evening, her entire family knew. And she had no clue. Step 3, the final blow. Saturday morning arrived. Claire's suitcase was by the door. She was dressed in her travel outfit, a cute, casual sundress, perfect for Hawaii. She kissed me on the cheek. "I'll text you when I land, babe." I smiled. "Can't wait." She picked up her bag, opened the door. And froze. Right there, standing on the porch, was a process server. "Claire Finch." She blinked. Yes." The woman handed her a thick envelope. "You've been served." Claire stared at it, confusion written all over her face. Then she saw the first line. "Petition for divorce." Her face drained of color. "What the?" She turned to me, her voice shaking. "What is this?" I crossed my arms, leaning against the doorframe. "Oh, just some light reading for your flight." She tore open the envelope, flipping through the pages, her hands trembling. What the hell is this? You're divorcing me?" I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, don't play dumb, Claire. We both know you were leaving me first. You and Nathan had a whole little romantic trip planned, didn't you?" Her eyes widened. You know." I laughed. "Oh, sweetheart. I know everything." She stumbled back, shaking her head. No, wait, we can talk about this. It wasn't what you think." I pulled out my phone and held up the photo of her in bed with Nathan. Her jaw dropped. "I don't know, Claire," I said. "Looks exactly like what I think." She opened her mouth, but before she could say another word, her phone blew up. I knew exactly what was happening. Her family. Her friends. Her boss. They had all received the email. I watched as she scrolled through her phone, her breath hitching with every new message. "Emily, you disgust me." Her mom, "I can't believe you would do this to your family." Her boss, "Don't bother coming in Monday." Claire let out a choked sob. No. I leaned in, my voice cold as ice. "Oh, and by the way," I said, "your bank accounts locked. The house? Not yours. Your bags? Stay packed. Because you're not coming back here." Tears streamed down her face. "Please, baby, let's talk about this." I smiled. "Oh, Claire. Enjoy your trip." Then I shut the door in her face. The moment the door clicked shut, I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. For the first time in weeks, I felt in control. Claire, on the other hand, she was unraveling. Step 1, the breakdown. I stood at the window, watching her through the blinds. Claire was still on the porch, gripping her phone like it held the last bit of sanity she had left. I could see her frantically texting, probably trying to salvage whatever scraps of her life she had left. Then she called someone. And I had a damn good guess who it was. A second later, I was proven right. Because instead of getting into her car, she sat down on the porch and started crying. Not delicate, dainty tears. No, this was full-blown, ugly sobbing. Good. Let it sink in, Claire. Let it hit you that you destroyed your own life. I was about to walk away when something caught my eye. A car was pulling up. Not just any car. A black Audi. The same damn car I'd seen parked outside her Chicago work trips, on Google Street View. I knew who it was before he even stepped out. Nathan Carter. Step 2, the showdown. Nathan barely had time to shut his car door before Claire ran up to him, sobbing into his chest. I could see him asking questions, his hands gripping her arms, trying to calm her down. And then Then, she pointed right at the house. Right. At me. I smirked. Oh, this just keeps getting better. I walked over to the front door, unlocked it, and swung it open. Nathan. I called out, waving casually like we were old friends meeting for a drink. He turned, his face darkening. Claire grabbed his arm. Don't, please, she begged. But Nathan? Oh, he had something to prove. He stormed up my driveway, his fists clenched. You think this is funny? I tilted my head. A little bit, yeah. She's crying, man, he spat. What the hell is wrong with you? I pretended to think about it. Maybe the part where your girlfriend, sorry, my wife, cheated on me and planned to run off to Hawaii while I stayed home raising our kids. Nathan's jaw tightened. You didn't have to ruin her life. I let out a sharp laugh. Oh, buddy, she did that all on her own. Claire grabbed his arm again. Nathan, let's just go. That's when I saw it. Doubt. Nathan hesitated. Oh. Interesting. You didn't tell him, did you? I said, crossing my arms. Nathan frowned. Tell me what? Claire's face paled. I grinned. Tell him, Claire. Tell him how you drained your Fidelity account to buy those fancy new rings. Nathan stiffened. Wait, what? Tell him how you lied to your boss, to your family, hell, probably to him, too. Claire shook her head furiously. Nathan, don't listen to him. Or better yet, I continued, tell him how I froze all your accounts, so the only money you have left is whatever's in his wallet. Nathan snapped his head toward her. Wait, you don't have any money? She grabbed his hands. Baby, it's just a little setback. Nathan stepped back. Oof. I had a feeling their little romance wasn't built on love. Claire looked panicked. You said you'd take care of me. Nathan ran a hand through his hair, clearly rethinking every decision he'd made in the past 6 months. Claire, this is a lot, I didn't. I thought we'd have time to figure it out. Her voice shook. We still can. Nathan sighed, looking at me. You really took everything? I grinned. Every last penny. That was it. Nathan visibly checked out. I need to think, he muttered. Claire's eyes widened. What? No, you said. I just need some space, he snapped. Then, in the most satisfying moment of my life, Nathan turned around, got in his car, and drove off. Claire stood there, stunned. Then, slowly, she turned back to me. And I swear to God, I saw something new in her eyes. Not rage. Not denial. Not even shock. Fear. Because for the first time, Claire realized. She had nowhere to go. Step 3, the final goodbye. I stepped forward until I was standing right in front of her. You were so sure you'd get away with this, I murmured. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. You thought you were gonna live some fantasy, that Nathan was your ticket to some perfect life. She shook her head, her bottom lip trembling. I leaned in, my voice cold as ice. But guess what, Claire? The game is over. And you? You lost. Tears streamed down her face. I pulled the door shut, locked it, and walked away. Claire. She didn't even knock. She just stood there. Lost. Defeated. And utterly, completely alone. For the first time in days, the house was quiet. Claire was gone. Nathan had left her standing there, and after a few minutes of looking like a lost puppy, she finally walked away. I didn't know where she went, and honestly, I didn't care. But I knew Claire. She wasn't the type to go down without a fight. I just didn't expect her to strike back so soon. Step 1, the call that changed everything. I barely had time to enjoy my victory before my phone started buzzing. I checked the screen. Claire. I smirked. She really had the nerve to call me. I hit ignore. Then, a minute later. Voicemail. I hesitated before playing it. Then, Claire's shaky voice came through the speaker. Jack, please. I know I messed up. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but, please, just call me back. I need to talk to you. It's important. I frowned. This wasn't the furious Claire I expected. No screaming. No blaming me. This sounded like fear. I almost ignored it. Almost. But then. My phone buzzed again. This time. It was from my lawyer. Step 2, the plot twist I didn't see coming. I answered immediately. Michael, what's up? His voice was tense. Jack, I just got an urgent email from Claire's lawyer. She's trying to contest the divorce. I laughed. She can't contest it, I have rock-solid proof. That's not the problem, Michael interrupted. She's not saying you don't have proof. She's saying she was forced into the affair. I froze. What? She's claiming Nathan manipulated her, coerced her into the relationship. I ran a hand through my hair. That's bull. I have texts, emails, she was begging him to be with her. I know. But she's trying to play the victim card. And if she convinces a judge she was being pressured? She could argue she was in a compromised state of mind, which could affect the settlement. She might try to come after your assets. My stomach twisted. That's sneaky, lying. She's desperate, Michael said. She lost everything, Nathan abandoned her, and she has nowhere to go. This is her last move. I clenched my jaw. So what do I do? Michael sighed. We hit her with the real evidence. The stuff that proves she was an active participant. I need you to forward me everything, the texts, the receipts, the photos. We need to destroy this angle before it gains traction. I was already on my laptop, attaching every single piece of evidence I had. Claire wanted to play dirty. She was about to get buried. Step 3, the last confrontation. I sent the email. 5 minutes later. Claire called again. I let it ring. Then, voicemail. Jack, please. Just hear me out. I don't care about the money, I swear. I don't know where to go. I don't have anyone. Please. I just need to talk to you. I stared at my phone. For the first time, Claire sounded genuinely broken. And I should have felt good about that. But all I felt was exhausted. I sighed, grabbed my keys, and drove. Not to our house. Not to a lawyer's office. But to the motel where I knew she was staying. Because if Claire wanted to play the victim, I was going to make damn sure she did it to my face. I pulled into the parking lot of the rundown motel on the edge of town. The kind of place people don't stay at by choice. Claire's car was there, parked crookedly, like she'd pulled in without thinking. I stared at it for a long moment, gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. I shouldn't be here. She didn't deserve a second of my time. But if Claire wanted to play the victim, I was going to make damn sure she did it to my face. I climbed out of the car, walked up the cracked pavement, and knocked on the door. A few seconds later, Claire opened it. And I barely recognized her. Her hair was a mess, her mascara smudged from what looked like hours of crying. She wore an oversized hoodie, mine, I realized, and her eyes were red and swollen. For the first time, she didn't look smug or manipulative. She just looked lost. Jack, she whispered. I didn't respond. I just walked in. Step 1, no more lies. The motel room was pathetic. The kind of place that smelled like old cigarettes and regret. Her suitcase was open on the bed, half-packed, like she hadn't even known what to take. I turned to face her. "Talk," I said. She swallowed. "I know I messed up." I let out a cold laugh. "That's putting it lightly." She flinched. "I was stupid, Jack. Nathan was a mistake. I thought," she trailed off, shaking her head. I crossed my arms. "Thought what?" She looked at the floor. "I thought he would take care of me. That he really loved me." I let that sink in for a second. "Then," I said, "and now that he's ditched you, you're suddenly sorry." She winced. "No. That's not why I'm sorry. I was wrong. I should have never done this to you." I stared at her, waiting for more. She hesitated. I don't know where to go, Jack." And there it was. The real reason she wanted to talk. It wasn't about regret. It wasn't about love. It was about survival. She had no money. No home. No Nathan. And now? She wanted me to fix it. Step 2, my answer. "You don't know where to go." I repeated, my voice flat. She shook her head, tears welling up again. "I don't have anyone, Jack." I took a slow step forward until I was right in front of her. Then, I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "Not my problem." She sucked in a breath. "Jack, please." "No," I cut her off. "You made your choice, Claire. You had a home. You had a husband who loved you. You had a family. And you threw it all away." Tears spilled down her face. "But no. More. Excuses." My voice was calm, but final. "You didn't just cheat, Claire. You lied to my face. You planned a whole other life behind my back. And you would have let me sit at home, raising our kids, while you were in Hawaii with him." She sobbed. I know, and I hate myself for it." I stared at her for a long moment. Then, I shook my head. "No, you don't." She blinked, startled. "You don't hate yourself for what you did," I said. "You hate that you got caught." That's when I saw it. The moment she realized I was done. No forgiveness. No second chances. Just, the end. She collapsed onto the bed, covering her face as she sobbed. "Jack, please, what am I supposed to do?" I turned for the door. Before I walked out, I said the last words I'd ever say to her. "Figure it out." Then I left. And this time, I never looked back.